Hey everybody, this is Zach with TechTut.net, and today I'm going to be showing you how to disable startup applications in Windows 10 and Windows 8. I'm running 10 at home, but with the exception of a few nuances, it should be almost identical for Windows 8. I want to start out by giving everybody a disclaimer. Disabling your startup applications can wreak havoc on your computer, especially if you disable something that might be related to your antivirus or if you have a third-party firewall. It can definitely be easy to miss. So my recommendation, at the very minimum, if you do not recognize the application you're looking to disable, make sure you Google it first. That'll give you a pretty good idea of what it is and provide you enough information, hopefully, to tell you whether or not you should disable it or not. We want to go ahead and start out by opening Task Manager. Easiest way to do that is right-click on the taskbar and go to Task Manager. It's going to start you out on the Processes tab. We're going to want to move to the middle tab here, Startup. And then here you can see this is a view of all of your startup applications. Something I want to point out before we move any further is this last BIOS time. It's actually a really good way to tell if your changes had any effect on your computer. If you record this time and then make a change, say disable Adobe Creative Cloud here, you'll actually be able to see, hopefully, if your changes had any impact. I have a fairly new computer and an SSD, and it won't make too much of a difference any of these disabling them. Otherwise, I would show you guys a before and after. Next thing I want to point out is the Startup Impact tab. It can actually show you, for the most part, what applications are using the most resources on startup. And I like to start out by sorting descending, so you can see high use applications first. Looking through all these high use applications, most of them are ones that I use. The only one I see I could disable is Google Chrome, but I like the extra 10 seconds of time it saves me when it's open on startup. So then we're going to go ahead and move on to these medium applications. I want to point out this updater because that's one thing that I see frequently. Say if you have Java or Adobe Reader, all of those things usually have auto updaters and they almost always run on startup, and they can definitely bog your machine down. They're usually something I like to disable, but in the case of this one, it's Adobe Creative Cloud and we'll leave it. Now we'll move on to BitTorrent Sync. It's something I use, but I don't use it on startup. I don't need it running in the background all the time, so we're going to disable that. And to do that, we just want to right-click and then click Disable. And now you can see that the status over here changed from enabled to disabled. As I was mentioning with applications that you don't know, this is a perfect example. When I started out making this video, I did not know what iSkySoft Studio was. It's actually video recording software, but I had to Google it to find out what it was before I disabled it. A couple of resources you can use are on the right-click menu. There's this open file location, which will actually show you where the exe is located that it's starting. For stuff like Avast or Adobe, where they have folders upon folders upon folders, it can kind of give you an idea of what it is and whether or not you might want to keep it. Say, for example, if this subfolder was part of Avast and I didn't know it, I would probably leave it just by seeing that. Another feature you can use if you don't mind Bing is also on the right-click menu. This search online will actually Bing the exe name and the publisher for you, and it'll give you some information on who creates the application. I've already done this, so we're going to go ahead and disable it. Those are the only two that I see that I can disable. The rest of them I use or might impact my system, and it's not too big of a bog down for me, so I'll leave them. Personally, I recommend, though, if you're having slowdown on startup, just go through each one of these and figure out what they are. It'll let you learn your computer a little bit better, and if you don't have a newer hard drive and SSD, it will most likely speed things up for you. As always, if you guys want a text-based walkthrough, go ahead and check us out at TechTut.net. There will be a link in the description. Otherwise, drop us a line if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.